guys, editing Alexis here. So I feel like I should put a disclaimer at the beginning of this video in case anybody watching/listening is also a pretty big fan of the Gazette. I make a ridiculous error and embarrass myself pretty hardcore. I give a really passionate presentation about the Gazette, only to realize that about 45 minutes in that I am calling one band member by the other band member's name. So, yeah, that happens. Podcast kind of slows down from then on, but I had a really passionate rest of the time. Like, everything was really good, so just felt like I should put that disclaimer. I'm probably going to be memeing myself throughout if you're watching visually. If you're just listening, then you get to watch me slowly spiral into embarrassment. Enjoy!
What the hell was that? Welcome to this episode of Metal Waifu. That's how we're starting this. I'm not letting that die. You do that right now.
Yep, I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about this.
All right.
Excited to talk about things. Hi, welcome to Metal Waifu.
Hi, I'm Nick.
I'm Alexis.
Hi. If you can tell by the title of this video, or you even know whatsoever, much like myself, what this is another JRock episode we're doing.
Yeah.
And we're doing it on this band that you saw in the title called The Gazette.
The Gazette, with a capital E at the end.
Yeah, because why not?
You'll find out some more stuff that's interesting.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I need y'all to be ready for the ride we're about to go on, because I'm not the one riding it. I'm not your conductor for this evening or day or midday, whatever time you're watching this video. It's up to you. I will not be the conductor for this train ride. This is basically just going to be Alexis kind of gushing and explaining and going into detail about another JRock band. I will say, though, I've done some homework.
Did you watch any videos?
I watched some videos, yes. And I listened to the three albums you suggested.
Oh, yeah. So if you've watched or listened to our Duran Gray episode, I didn't fully like how I did that one. Yeah. So I'm doing things a lot different. This one includes pictures.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm taking this a little bit differently because it's supposed to be like a 101, and obviously we still are going to focus on the music, but I also kind of just want to focus on like them as a band too, especially because the Gazette, one, is one of the very few Japanese bands that has made it over 10 years, let alone over 15 years in the business. But two, they also just have like a really interesting way of doing things, and I really like the way that they go about like approaching a new album and a new stage show and like all that fun stuff. And so yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's my thing today.
Yeah. So this is basically also her birthday episode. So basically she's getting to take the reins and fucking take us on this magical kawaii androgynous journey together.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's
absolutely
you have a lot of questions and you may not be sure you're going to have the answers for them, but it's going to be enjoyable. So if you want to take it away, however you want to start it off, let's go on this adventure.
Yeah. Well, okay. No.
Riding a horse.
Well, okay. I guess we both have our moment in this video today.
Yeah, I know.
We both got it here.
I have a lot of those, so it's fine.
Oh, look, I didn't finish a part of my notes. Fascinating. All right. So, for those who don't know, the Gazette. Now, the Gazette is super, super special to me, and this is the whole reason I wanted to do an episode on this in general, is the Gazette was one of the very, very first bands that I ever listened to and got me completely into Visual K and got me into just JRock in general. And like, I hold them so near and dear to my heart, and I've followed them ever since. I want to say I found them around like late 2007, 2008, somewhere in there. And I've just been addicted to them ever since. Still haven't seen them live, though, because they've only done 3 world tours, and I was a broke student for 2 of those, and then the third one, I was a working adult. So I didn't take the time off to just go because whenever they do world tours, and a lot of Japanese bands, whenever they do world tours, the closest you get to Florida is Atlanta, Georgia. And I just didn't take the time to go out there. But I'm doing it. I already told my boss, I said, when they are back in any vicinity of Florida, I'm gone. I'm gone.
Like even Georgia,
Well, yeah, no, I'm definitely going if they're in Atlanta.
Oh, to go to Atlanta? I might even just go right with you to Atlanta because I love going there. Go to the Vortex, go to Varsity,
Jesus,
go to
don't tell Brian.
Oh, I did, dude.
Brian is my coworker. Well, like, he's directly my coworker, but Nick knows him as well.
Oh yeah. I've known the dude for a hot minute.
Yeah.
Many of late night nightclub work. It's miserable.
Yeah, dear God.
But
you knew him in a different era than even I knew him. So
yeah. Way different era. No, just going. When we went there for Dragon Con, whatever, it's like, you're going to Atlanta. I was like, yeah. He's like, grab some food from there. The food's amazing in Atlanta. It's like, it's insane.
it's
I wouldn't
always
mind taking a trip.
always the Varsity.
Oh yeah,
It's always the Varsity.
the hot dogs. But continue.
But yeah, okay. So, anyways, I'll give kind of a brief background on the band as much as I have. I have things written down, and then I also have things saved on my phone. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of this back and forth loveliness. But yeah, and then I also gave Nick. This was an extremely hard decision for me. Was what 3 albums, because I didn't want him to just like try and get through all 9 albums on his own.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'm going to give him the 3 that I think are a pretty good, like, evolutionary point of them. I didn't even want to so much as be like, these are the ones that I think are the best, because that's kind of subjective. I was kind of looking at it more as like, what will really show their evolution in kind of a condensed form. And then I also gave you 2,
You gave me like 2 wild cards.
Yeah, wild cards.
I'll be real. I didn't listen to those, but I listened to the main 3. I just listened to the main 3 you suggested.
Yeah, so I gave him Disorder, which is their very first album, which is kind of hard to find, but there is somebody who uploaded. Oh, I think there's a couple people that have uploaded the entire thing on YouTube, so bless them. Disorder, and then I gave him Division, and then I gave him Dogma. Did not intend for them to all be D albums, but it just happened.
The triple D, if
you
will.
Triple D's here.
Triple D. Not Triple H, Triple D. Different wrestler.
Jesus.
The missing Ed. Triple D.
The missing Ed.
The missing Ed, Triple D.
Ed, Eddie, and Triple D over there.
Ed.
We don't talk about him.
No, we don't.
He's the long lost one. He just he's the disappointment to the
group. Put him in the corner. It's fine. He's the evil kid that lives in the basement.
Oh God. All right. Well, anyways, okay.
Back on track.
So, a little general overview about the band. Oh my God, I have too much paper now. General overview. They are a Japanese. Some people still consider them Visual K. Some people just put them kind of in the rock umbrella because they kind of glide through the genres. But they're from Kanagawa, I believe is how it's pronounced. It was formed in what?
I thought you said Kamigawa.
No,
Kanagawa.
Kanagawa.
I'm sorry, my Magic player triggered. I'm like, Kamigawa? That's not a real place. I'm like,
they're fake. They don't exist.
You're fake. Not even real. It's all a lie. Sorry, tangent.
My God.
Continue.
Anyways, I just got a random. What? Yeah, but it's in. Well, it says here specifically it's the Kanagawa Prefecture. I don't know what that means. I guess I could click on it and
We're
figure it
ignorant
out.
Americans. It's fine.
It's a prefecture of Japan located in the Kanto region of Honshu. Okay. Cool. Anyways, but they were formed in 2002. All of these band members are original except for the drummer, and really, like, that's kind of a loose term. So you had Yune, who was the drummer in 2002, but he left in early 2003, so it didn't last very long. But yeah, so the entire band is composed of Ruki, who's lead vocals, Yuruha, which is lead guitar, Aoi is yeah, no, I always struggle. Aoi, I don't know. Second guitar, Reita, which is bass, and Kai on drums. And it's been like that ever since. Obviously, those are not their real names.
Well, yeah.
That's all just pseudonyms that they use, which is...
Seems to be a running theme in a lot of JRock or stuff like that along those lines.
Yeah.
They do assume personas or names and all that shit and everything. So
Yeah. And it's just, I can kind of get it, because it's hard to chant their real names.
yeah, it's true.
Because they're kind of long. Like, it's a little, like, if you want to chant somebody's name at a show, like, it's a little long.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I don't know if that's the reason, but I don't know, maybe it is.
Probably, yeah. It's like, my name's complicated. I don't want to do that shit.
Yeah,
got too many vowels in it.
Too many long A's.
You know about them long A's, right? Make me a stutter, you know?
Oh my god. Okay.
This is gonna be most of my contribution to this episode, just making dumb fucking jokes. That's where I'm at.
Anyways, so it says that after being involved with other bands in the Visual Kei movement, the trio decided that the Gazette would be their like last band. So it was the like creators of the band, or the founders of the band, is Ruki, Reita, and Yuruha. So those were the originators. And then they recruited second guitar and drums, and then then they officially became the Gazette January 2002, and then they released a single and a first music video, which I will butcher so bad if I try to pronounce it, so maybe I'll put it on the screen, maybe I won't. Who knows?
Surprise me.
Yeah, I don't know. In October 2002, they played their first solo live show. On Christmas 2002, they released a 5-song compilation. And then in early 2003 was again when Yune left the band and was replaced with Kai, who also came from other bands. Yune and Aoi.
Oi.
Aoi. I'm not.
Aioli?
Aioli, yes,
Aioli?
Aioli. They were from a disbanded band as well, so everybody
yeah.
kind of came from different bands and came together. So shortly after that happened, and this is when like Kai, I guess, volunteered to be the leader of the band, so that's kind of an interesting little fun fact. And then shortly after this, they were signed with the PS Company label, and then in May released their first EP, which was when Cocaine Soup came in.
Cocaine Soup.
It almost looks like almost looks like Kanye. If you look at it like real fast, like.
Why does the soup taste bipolar?
God damn. Jesus. Oh my god. But yeah, as I said earlier too, they are one of the very few bands that has been active for over 15 years, approaching 20 years now. Well, approaching 19, 20 shortly coming. I don't know where I'm going with this. But they're also, fun fact, they're about to release a new song and a new video this month, like literally in a week or two from now. I don't even know. What day is it? But soon.
Yeah, soon.
It's shortly before my birthday, so I'm like really excited about that. I wish it would have come out by the time, we did this.
Would it be out by the time this episode comes out, or
yes,
yeah, so it'll be out by that. So yeah, at this point when you listen to it, yeah, it should be already out by now. So
yeah, so you guys can enjoy it and comment below what you think about it.
So it was okay.
I know, I'd be so upset. But yeah, so they've got several EPs that they released, and then Disorder, the first album, came out in 2004, which was with what? Yeah, that was still with PS Company, which was founded in 98. Its parent company being Free Will. But yeah, so that first album has 12 tracks on it, and what'd you feel about it?
There's songs on the album that I listened to, and they were in succession. I didn't know this was like the first band you ever listened to in your entire life.
No, not my entire life.
Oh, or like was this like the first visual K band you ever listened to?
Yeah,
or?
this was like one of the first ones that got me into JRock.
Okay.
Because I got into them. So again, when the 2007 2008 area is when Stacked Rubbish came out, which I think I gave you that as a wild card.
I think so.
Yeah, Stacked Rubbish holds a very fine place in my heart because
Okay.
it was the first album. Because Filth and the Beauty was the first song that I ever came.
That was
across.
the one that sounded like a TLC song. Sorry.
The
Yeah, and then like it
please
was
don't copyright me.
Yeah, please don't.
Please, Japan, please. They're signed with Sony now, so it's like,
Oh, dude, guns out ablaze and just copyright claim. Shit. So your first album you listened to then was Stacked Rubbish.
yeah,
Okay, so it wasn't Disorder.
no,
Okay.
no. I was giving you like an evolution. Of them.
Right. I trying to remember songs from it. I know. So I was listening.
Do you remember Anti-Pop? Because that opening bass line, like, I feel like any Gazette fan that has been, I mean, hopefully if you're a real fan, then you've, not like a real fan, but like if you're
Real?
if you're, you know, you're gonna say like I'm a really big fan of this band, then you've probably heard Anti-Pop and that freaking opening bass riff that
I think I remember.
triggers you.
I think I remember the opening bass. I think I remember Anti-Pop. Yeah. Something like that. Trust me, I listened to the album. I swear on everything on my holy fucking body.
Man ain't got anything.
That I listened to this album. But here's the problem I have with JRock, right? The thing I've noticed so far. And I think it was the reason why I was glad we started with Duran Gray. And the problem with that episode was that I started with the first 4 albums and I tried to power through everything. I was just like, I can't do this. This is a lot. So I like the idea that you gave me like 3 albums to listen to as like the progression. I think that was a good idea. The issue I had with like Duran Gray's first album I listened to was that it just kept on reminding me of fucking anime intros.
Yeah, it's super hefty on that.
It's hefty.
But the thing is, and that's a thing, or a whole factor is like, this was 2004 again. Like,
Right.
that was what all of the animes were using at the time.
Well, yeah. So like, listening to that first album through, I was just like, kind of like, I go through it. I'm just kind of like, it sounds like anime intros and sounds like that kind of stuff, which I understand. It's Japan; it's what they all use anyway. It was just there wasn't anything real remarkable that I noticed. That was my thing. Like it's just like as I was listening through it, I was just kind of like, okay, it's the first album, so like, but I got the same idea from like when I listened to Duran Gray's first album, which was there wasn't anything that was really standing out or popping to me because it just reminded me of I kept thinking I had my headphone mic right here because I'm using my headset having the headphone over here. So I started like adjusted. I'm like, wait a minute, what the fuck am I doing? There wasn't anything that was really standing out to me or really like coming like to the forefront. So I was like, as I was listening through it, I was just kind of like, oh, okay, it's an album. Again, if you like that style, which clearly we're doing this.
Well, like, I can 100% agree that it's 100% what I expect, like, a Japanese band in the early 2000s, their first rock album. Like, I fully expect that sound and that quality. Obviously, the production quality was also a lot lower. Granted, also it's on YouTube, so that could also be part of it. But
I put that into factor, too, and everything.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't put production as an issue because obviously I'm getting basically like a ripped version on YouTube from it. It didn't sound like terrible, but I was like, I knew not to put that into the factor of it all.
Well, they also did put some of these songs on their very first best of, and there is a little bit of a production in it.
Okay.
So
yeah,
that's the reason that I say that.
Right, but there as I was listening through it, I was just kind of like, okay, that was a song, all right, okay. Hope Alexis didn't really like fully like this album because I'm just kind of riding through it right now.
Oh no. It's even a little difficult for me. Like some of the songs in the middle, like I do like Tokyo Love. That one was good. Of course, I love Anti-Pop. I even wrote fucking classic next to it just because, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me as a Gazette fan, but that opening freaking bass line, like, triggers a, like, caveman response in me, like caveman SpongeBob, just like,
Is it like me and fucking Into the City from Sonic Adventure 2?
No.
Every time, running around.
Gotta go,
Gotta go fast.
Jesus.
Nothing kicks off a helicopter blade and turns it into a snowboard any more than this.
God.
But I don't want to dwell on that first album because I don't have a lot to say about it because it was just kind of there.
So, also a thing that I'm kind of adding into this, again, I said I'm adding pictures, because a big thing about the Gazette is they're very much like a full package deal whenever they release a new album. And a big part of that is their physical image. So every time they've released an album, they look completely different, which is very similar to Duran Gray, obviously.
Well, yeah.
But there's, I don't know, I guess there's just something a little more methodical about the Gazette compared to Duran Gray, because sometimes I feel like Duran Gray, some of the appearance is just that's what they do.
Yeah.
And it might not always go with the album, where the Gazette kind of does this like package
that's
deal.
That's my problem with. So, what was the name of the song that had like the weird BDSM like chariot in like the Duran Gray? Like it's like
you're
it's
talking
all,
about the Gazette. I was like, whoa,
no, there's
I haven't listened to this one.
It wasn't. It was off their first album. It's not Obey. Was Obey off their first album? Is that the name of the song that I'm thinking of?
Possibly.
It's like a upbeat song. Like it's like it sounds like an anime intro song, but then you watch the music video and it's just like there's like this the lead singer's being carried like this chariot of like people in like bound PDSM outfits and shit and stuff. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on?
It's wild.
Yeah, shit. Japan, you wild.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I understand that that aspect of it or whatever, but well, so what was it? What was it? Do you have the photo of their like first look? All right,
I have photos. Hopefully, Alexis in editing remembers to put all these up. But I did gather some photos from at least the 3 albums that I had Nick listen to, because it is going to show a pretty stark change. So this was kind of one of the. Oh my God, this photo of Rookie is just.
It's a vibe.
So, also, peep the background and peep the shirt. They all had shirts that had the logo from the album cover printed on it.
Why does it look like... I get it that Tetsuya Nomura is big into visual K. I understand that's what his aesthetic was going for, right? I understand that. That's why they all look like that. But he looks like Dark Roxas.
This is what like early 2000s visual K was like, the Scene Kids of 2008 on like crack. It's really dramatic. It's aggressive.
It's like, dude,
and it's
even the Hot Topic employee is gonna be like, "Sir, we might have to ask you to leave."
But see, they all have hooded jackets that have the little Disorder logo on it. It's crazy. Also, these photos were really hard to find because a lot of them don't exist anymore.
That's fair. Wait, his name's Sora, but his name's Roxas because he just has the X in his name.
I hate you. I hate you.
I'm trying. Nick, be respectful. They look cool.
They look cool.
They look cool.
But yeah, so I feel like the first one, I mean, this was obviously their very first album, their very first like style thing.
Yeah,
they're kind of just like breaking into everything, so everything's a little harsh and
It's
a little
it's understanding from like JRock and from that the biggest thing from them, from a lot of those bands, it has to be the visual aesthetic, because that's the thing that's going to pull a lot of people in.
Oh yeah.
So I understand that there's a heavy want to stand out and to pop and to do a lot of kind of stuff. And I appreciate them from a lot more, because there's definitely a lot more of an artistic take to a lot of that stuff, especially like for me, for like Duran Gray, or even for like Gazette. I just sometimes I think it's just my hatred for like, I don't know, glam or hair metal every once in a while, where it's just like they're just doing it because just looking cool and all that stuff. Oh my gosh, look at us. Oh yes,
Aquanet sponsor me.
Yes. We Cherry Pie might be one of the most overplayed songs in the world and kind of basic, but we look good.
And unfortunately, it's the only song they're known for anymore.
Oh yeah, dude, that
People would be like, they made more music.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, they did.
That guy, the guy who was the lead singer, was like, he stopped making music after Cherry Pie because he was like, everything about that album, they were supposed to have a different name too and everything. And he was just like, as soon as Cherry Pie came out as the first single, the label was just like, it's all Cherry Pie now. The name Cherry Pie. Every time you go to like do promo, you're having a cherry pie eating contest. Every time you go,
So awful.
dude, you're just like, this is miserable. So like, it's understand like. But like I understand for the first band they want to like pop out and like ta-da, like look at us, ta-da.
I hope I make it through this. I have 4% battery. Whoop.
We'll make it through. Save it.
I know. So yeah.
That was Disorder.
Yeah, Disorder. So then what? Okay, so after that they released 2006 came Nil, I believe is how it's pronounced.
Nil.
Then Stacked Rubbish came out in 2007. Dim came out in 2009. In between all of this, too, they had these things called film bugs, which I think was supposed to be like, they did. I think they had one song that was put into an anime. There might have been a second, but these were kind of like songs that were used for things, from my understanding. But yeah, and then Toxic, which I desperately wanted to put Toxic on there because I wanted to force you to listen to Pledge because I love Pledge so much. That's like one of my all-time favorite songs from them, and that video was great. That actress is amazing. She's wow. And then Division came around in 2012.
Another thing too I noticed is as I was going through, I was like, I was like trying to figure out like how old's this band, and you mentioned like 2002. I was like, oh okay, so they're still younger. They're younger than Duran Gray, but only about like what, like 5 or 6. Like Duran Gray was like 97, right?
Were they?
Yeah, I think so.
Was it? I don't.
Flip back through the notes. So yeah, Division.
Oh yeah, 97. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
For some reason, I thought it was like 98 or 99, but I don't know.
I retain information. I swear to God.
I don't. That's the problem.
That's fair. So yeah, Division. That was.
Well,
go ahead.
I want to say something. Oh, I also forgot. I wrote down the chart peaks for these albums. I don't know why. It was a piece of information that was given to me without asking for it, and I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Disorder peaked at 19th, and then Division peaked at number 4 on their charts. This was so technically Division is the first album on a major label. This was when they were officially with Sony. Toxic came out when the Gazette kind of made their own label for like a tiny period of time. It was kind of like a way to transition themselves out of the label that they were in, and then ended up with Sony. At least I hope I'm remembering that correctly. So yeah, this was their official like first major label record, and boy, oh boy, did it come out swinging. Which the album itself is distributed by Sony Records in Japan, but then in Europe it's by JPU Records, so you'll probably see those connected together a lot. But this, for a lot of people, is known as the band's heaviest and most progressive album. This is where you get a lot more like nu metal, noise rock sort of vibes. That was kind of the general consensus from a lot of people.
Yeah.
And a little more industrial on it.
Yeah. Some industrial.
It kind of floats through.
They're
always floating.
No, I wouldn't even say industrial. I would say more like techno. Like I would even say more like there was nothing like Duran Gray was industrial influenced. Like there was some heavier. There wasn't a lot of like heavier use of electronic like noises or electronic like beats and everything along those lines. Division was definitely more, at least for me as I'm listening through it, wouldn't say softer, but like it's not as
Well,
it's not
yes, I'm
heavy.
not saying that it like fully goes into those genres, but that's when you're
No.
seeing a lot more. Because like that's the thing with the Gazette is they never really want to. They've always talked about it. They don't follow trends. They don't want to, even though they know it might get them like a quick spike in their popularity or
Yeah.
whatever. They don't want to follow that, so they'll do things maybe a little later, or they only sprinkle in things. They do things very selectively.
That might be my thing then, because Division was also I was kind of having the same thing with Disorder, where it was just kind of like what's the thing that's gonna hook me in? What's the thing? And I think that might have explained you telling me how they kind of think or how they kind of make stuff. Maybe that's why, because I felt like maybe they weren't just. I'm trying to figure out what their sound was, and I'm like trying to figure out what they're trying to stick with, and it's just like
They
nothing's.
don't want to. That's what makes them so interesting, at least for me as a listener and me as a connoisseur.
Well, sure.
Because the thing with them is they do it in the way that I think, especially a lot of American bands have tried to do and have failed really bad. I think they do pretty well, and they do it very like I've never really I don't think there's anything that they've made that I'm unhappy with technically. There's things that I don't like as much as others, but there's nothing I could be like, nah, I could do without this.
Yeah, I mean, Division just kind of have like the same like I was having a little bit of this. I remember Division a little bit more. Like, and also I watched the 2 music videos out of that one, which was Derangement, and there was another one, I forget which one the other one was. And like I remember certain aspects of it and everything like that, but there wasn't like. I think I just had to boil it down to like it just wasn't. There was nothing personally that was hidden. You know what I'm saying? Like there was nothing as I was going through. I was just like, oh fuck, that's a bop. I'm just like, yeah, it's just cool, I guess. Like, it's fine. It's fine, whatever. I mean, just it just at no point where I was sitting through listening to it, like there may be like 1 or 2 points going through the album where I was like, okay, I can vibe with this a little bit, but then. I'm trying to find where I want to sit and enjoy, and it's just like I can't find that groove. But the one thing I did notice about their look is definitely, first off, it's way different than obviously they have a few years under their goddamn belt, so they obviously went for more like a suit kind of thing and like more of that like. This
is where I definitely say whenever somebody talks about like a scene kid evolves into a mature goth aesthetic, that's what this is.
Yeah, 100%. That dude looks like fucking Squall. Like, like
this is also like by this point they each had kind of like the iconic thing. Obviously, you were seeing Yuruha always have the band covering his face.
Yeah.
That became like a regular thing, or sometimes it was like a half mask thing that was always his.
Yeah.
And it's been his thing ever since. I'm trying to find the other photo I have. Yeah, this was like one of the promotional photos that was used for it.
Yeah.
Which is just, yeah.
Okay.
So, it's all dark.
Dirk.
But it's not. But it's not really like in your face as it was before.
No, it's not.
Especially if you looked at like some of the stuff that came out in like the Nil and Stacked Rubbish era. Jesus. And then Dim came along and whoo, blonde-haired rookie came alive. Lord. Invisible wall. It's a great video.
Invisible wall between you and him. That's what's funny.
It is. It's unfortunate.
Try and kick that shit down. No, I think it was just kind of like that. Out listening to the album and watching some of the music videos and everything like that. I was kind of like, my feeling towards it was, yes, I like that was the point where I was feeling like the visual K stuff. Yes, they're going for that look. They have the vibe, they have the feel, and all that kind of stuff. And like, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, that's not me. I don't know if I feel that. I don't know if I'm like you do you, and I know people like Alexis like you, but I don't know if this is my vibe.
Well, and see, for
if
me,
this is my bop.
With like the Gazette, I especially now and towards this, and especially when this album came out, this was when they were like, I really wouldn't even consider them a visual K band anymore.
No,
like they are just straight up a JRock band that just like floats.
Yeah,
they float.
Yeah. No, that's just it. Like, it was when I was watching the music videos and stuff. I'm like, Alexis said this was like a visual K band or something along those lines, right? Because like I was just that look. Like, sure, their early look is like edge, pure edge.
Oh, I could show you the evolution of Rookie and his choices he made. One of my favorites to this day is going to be that Mad Hatter look that he did. I'm going to have to show you that later because that Mad Hatter look is gold. And I want to cosplay it so bad. It's forever stuck in my brain. It's incredible. But it was a choice.
It was a choice. It was a vibe.
Yeah, it was a choice.
Yeah. But the thing for me is just that like the fact that like one, I couldn't like see something visually that was like, oh shit, this is interesting, and like the music was also kind of like not finding a lane, like not really making up its mind. I was just kind of like, I'm just not feeling it now, Mr. Krabs. Just not feeling it now. But what was in between? What was in between Division and Dogma?
Division and Dogma. There's only one, which was Beautiful Deformity.
Okay.
Which is Beautiful Deformity, Dogma, Division, and Toxic are, and Nil. Those are typically all the, because I was looking, I always like to do this thing where I kind of just get like other people's perspective too. And it was helping me decide what albums I should tell you, because I was like, I'm going to end up just being like personalized and I don't want to do that way.
Yeah.
Those albums, and particularly the ones I just listed, are the ones that I tend to see were always shuffled in like people's top 10, but they were always like towards the higher end. Those were always the ones that people were kind of fighting over, like what were the best of the best in those.
Yeah.
There was not a clear consensus. The only clear consensus was that Nil was always really high on the list. Beautiful Deformity was usually up there too. But yeah, another thing with the Gazette that I was kind of learning through reading interviews too is they tried to do this thing, and they talked about it a lot in like recent interviews with Ninth, which is the most recent album. They briefly mentioned that every time they release a new album, they look back on everything that they've done and they want to show like the growth from then on, which was a huge thing about Ninth. It was their ninth album. They wanted to show everybody that like, look at everything we've done and look at where we are now. And they're talking about a lot bigger like societal points, or like, well, I guess it's pretty much all societal points. It's just like things that I don't really want to say political, because it's not. It's just like social issues,
grander
and
picture kind of things and everything. Yeah.
And some of the videos definitely reflect things like that, especially in Ninth, that falling music video. She lays down with the dead body that she just killed.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's interesting.
That's quaint.
But yeah, there's little like societal things and social issues that they'll kind of talk about and challenge. I think that's probably the best thing, is they're challenging your ideas and your thoughts on something.
Yeah.
And they started doing that more and more. And then when we got into Dogma was a really, really interesting one. Definitely like one of my top albums for them, because I love gothic metal, and this was full blown running the train into it.
This was the fucking album that like completely took like a 180 on me, because I'm like, I'm finishing Division and I'm just like, all right, sure, I think I'm okay. And then I put on Dogma, and then it's just fucking like, you hear this orchestral beat and like, I'm like, what the fuck? Hey, and screaming, dude. I was like, oh, okay, I'm on now. I'm here for this. Why, like, hello, mom? Like,
that's why
Satan's here.
And this was part of why it was so hard to tell you like what albums to listen to, because I was like, I know that this is going to be all over the place, because every album is different from the one before it.
Yeah, well, that's so. I guess it's what their angle they're going for. They want to be all in the, and they're bards. They're proficient in everything but masters of none. Like, they're just like, they kind of do whatever. But Dogma, I was like, I really dug, one, the production. Two,
production is so good.
Two, the tones of the guitars, like the drums, like this is coming off, and you know what? It was coming off of Post-Human Survivor Horror, where I was like, I coming off of that production and going to this, I'm like, oh, I 100% fuck with this. Like this is like
so good.
this is absolutely my jam. But it was just weird to me that I go for that would like it, jarring, but it makes more sense that when you tell me about their process and how they determine how to make albums, that's what they do.
Yeah. So, but another thing with Dogma that I actually didn't know this until a recent, because I was literally looking up like Dogma interviews, like Division interviews, because I was trying to find interviews that were when these albums were coming out. I found out with Dogma, the whole intent, or at least this is what it seemed like from what I read Rookie saying, is that they took the word dogma and they wanted to create what they believed that meant. Like what it meant to them, like what dogma as a word was encompassing to them, and that's what the album ended up being, which is a very interesting way to go about something.
Yeah, it's being like probably I assume their heaviest entry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't watch the music video for Dogma music video and everything, but I saw like the art for it, and it looked kind of nutty.
Oh, it's such a good video. I'm going to show you some.
I was on a little bit of a crunch, but but like towards the end, I was just like, "What the fuck is this?" Like this, I think it was like between Omen and I think it was like the second, third song that was like Omen and another one that was just like back to back, just like ass beaters.
And they always have an intro too. They always have an intro song that kind of like leads you into something. And I loved the intro into Dogma, which is Dogma's the second one, and I think that just like sets up the whole thing, because if you don't know what dogma means, definition, I'm also having this, is a principle or set of principles laid down by an authority as incontrovertibly true.
It's also a Kevin Smith movie. Just want to let you know.
Okay, shush. We don't talk about that.
Hey, come on, man.
But yeah, so like I like that idea where they have this really kind of creepier gothic-y intro. It goes into Dogma. You have the entire like your idea of what this album is going to be, and then you kind of get all the steps after.
It kind of reminded me. I'm just gonna refer to them because they're my only other like point of reference in terms of this. It kind of reminded me of Macabre. During Grey's Macabre, that intro where it's the orchestral kind of going into it, and then it just goes to pummeling. It felt like a evolution or an iteration of that concept going into it. Also, the album art, I was like, I clicked on it, I was just like, is it gonna be what we expect? And I'm like, oh shit.
So this is one of the photos from Dogma. Now I've got two others that are some of the most incredible photos of just anything in existence. I don't care. I only have 2% battery, so I don't hold too long.
That is visually interesting. The way they're dressed up and everything.
Hold on.
Kind of look like it.
Hold on. So this is straight Dogma music video, but like this one, and then I got one other that is just, oh my god. So this obviously this is when Rookie went like full gothic on us, but.
Dude just took the entire like black eyeliner bin and just fucking.
This was that video I did on Instagram. When I lip synced to Dogma, that was the look I was copying. Which yes, that's on my Instagram if you want to look. This. That is one of the most visually stunning photos I've ever seen in my life.
Bunch of chains and all that stuff and everything like that. And
but it's also like, the lighting, like the angle. I love that he's not in the center of the photo. Like everything is just, and again, when you're talking about like a laid down set of principles, the idea of being like completely wrapped up in chains. Yeah. Yeah. It all makes sense. I am a huge like theatrical person. So this album gets my rocks off. Will Jesus get these rocks off? That's a TikTok by one of my favorite YouTubers.
Oh my god. What? I thought you were referencing something from like a movie or whatever. But like, what movie is that fucking from?
Oh yeah, there's this one too. It's kind of not great quality, but there's that one too. That was the full band in color.
Yeah. I mean, I very interesting setup and everything like that. Like the not orchestration, but the composition of their clothing and everything like that. Once again, still looks like Final Fantasy characters, but everything's gonna look like a Final Fantasy character from my point of view.
Well, everything was a lot longer, flowier, which again is that like gothic metal thing you're getting into. You've got things with more lace, but then you add in some leather and like freaking Yuruha's mask that's just like PVC, like this man over here,
this fucking guy
doing the extra.
I mean. Visual K and extra are like basically hand in hand at this point. They're basically just like if it's not extra, then it's how it be and how it do. I think it's maybe that's why like I didn't like Division. It's just like it wasn't extra enough for me. It needs to be extra.
Oh my god! You know what I just realized?
What?
I've been calling the wrong fucking person. I didn't even realize I was doing that. I'm so stupid.
Wow. I'm going to call you out on that I totally had no idea what you're talking.
I want to die right now. I can't believe I just did an entire podcast calling this man the wrong fucking name. That's Rita.
It makes you feel any better. I know nothing about this. So the only person
I literally was like,
yourself.
It took me this long to realize. I'm like, wait a minute. I've been saying the wrong name this entire time. I'm sweaty. I'm embarrassed. Oh my god, man.
Oh, Alexis, this has been a great...
It's been an awful day for me.
Oh, no, it's fine.
I can't wait to edit all of those.
If you need to through this entire podcast. Like, if you're going to do the whole editing thing, if you're going to try to do that, just in text, it's Rada. Alexis, it's Rada.
Yeah, no, I literally am. It literally did not click until now. And I was like, wait a minute. That's not right.
Wait.
And you know what only clicked in my mind was because I was thinking I was talking, hi Teppy, I was talking to him because I asked his opinion on like what albums I should have you listen to, and he cosplays Yuruha all the time, and that was why my brain was there, and then fucking Christ, oh my god, oh, it's been such a bad day for me. This is supposed to be my episode, and I just screwed everything.
No,
I want
it's
to
been
die.
great. You've been so thorough with your notes and everything like that. It's been fantastic. You exuded passion. You exuded your love for the stuff.
I'm hot.
I mean, yes, we know that, Alexis. Guy, got to remind
No,
everyone.
I'm sweaty because I'm embarrassed. Yeah, that's gonna be all in editing.
I was worried about the moob sweat.
Man, it's been a long day.
At the start, like AC and everything like that, these mics pick up pretty well. She was like, should I turn off the AC or should I turn off the AC for the the sound and everything? It's up to you. I mean, I don't mind getting some moob sweat.
I can't wait to just roast myself in the editing of this entire thing. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? Well, here, oh Jesus, you know, I should just freaking like actually record myself saying Rita and then just impose it.
Oh my god!
Impose it every time.
Rada, just the most like.
Yeah, just monotone.
Just like Rada.
Yeah, exactly.
Just do it. Hold on, you cut this. Rada. It's Rada.
Fix it. I'm probably not even saying his name right. I don't even know how it's actually pronounced. I'm just assuming.
The notes are on the floor. They don't even matter anymore.
God, I have so much stuff. You don't understand how excited I was. I need you all to understand that I really love this band, and I just made one of the most critical errors in my life. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. I want to die.
It's fine.
I'm so embarrassed.
The thing is, like, I can't even help you, like, to fix it. I'm just like, yeah, sure. The name.
I know. He could only sit here and be like, yeah, him.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, totally him.
Yeah,
no.
100%. Yeah.
No. No, they don't. They don't even play the same instrument.
Some guys.
Don't even play the same instrument. What the fuck? What are you doing?
Some guy in the comment section should be like, oh, I decided to watch the video for some random. Oh, she got it wrong.
I know.
I didn't even finish the video because she got the name wrong the first time.
Yeah, I'm literally over here calling the damn bass player the guitarist name. I am so sorry. All right. Anyways, what the hell was I talking about? Oh, we're still talking about Dogma.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Center.
What else? What had I been saying? I was talking about what they looked like and everything.
Yeah. Final Fantasy characters and all that stuff.
Yeah, everything was long, flowy, pretty.
Yeah.
A thing that people have been talking about too, I guess like a thing just in the general sense of music, is how much Ruki has evolved as a singer. I don't know if you noticed that from like Disorder. His vocals weren't bad, but they were nothing like what they are now.
No, yeah, I noticed that. That was probably another thing too. That was like between those two albums, then going into Dogma, it was just like there's nothing out of his vocals. He did some growls that were like impressive. There was some stuff that was interesting, but the like on Dogma is when he really like switched, like he was getting versatile with his range in terms of all that kind of stuff. But now that you tell me that like Dogma is like the one that like gets like the heaviest, I'm just like, well, I guess I'll just listen to Dogma on repeat.
Well, I don't know if I would say it's necessarily the heavy. I mean, it's one of the heaviest.
Yeah.
Again, because ninth is so just dynamically different. I mean, it's nothing like Dogma in the sense of like the gothic metal thing. It does veer away again because they're just that's what they do. Yeah, they're just kind of we're on this roller coaster together, guys, and so are they. They're conducting this roller coaster. They built it.
Oh yeah. There's 20 corkscrews on this fucking thing.
I don't know what's going on.
There's buckets in front of the seats.
But yeah, because they had said specifically in an interview about Ninth it was a reflection and a show of their evolution. So Ninth, just as its own package, if you do ever listen to it, it takes some trips. I will say Ninth is, obviously I don't hate it, but there are songs on there that I'm kind of just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like it's a GazettE song. I mean, I'm not upset with it, but I don't know, I guess I feel like they're like as an overall listening experience, I don't dive into it as much, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. I've given it several tries and chances.
Yeah. Well, the band's discography that long, like you can't help but at least one or two of them are gonna have like duds.
No, yeah.
Yeah, like
Which is, I'm very curious. So Blinding Hope is what this new single is called. I have it right here. This is coming out March 10th. I'm very curious as to where this is going to go.
where their next album's gonna, what the next angle is going to be.
Yeah, and I'm very curious if they're going to do another world tour because they've only done 3 in all of these years that they've been a band. And I ended up finding out that it said they didn't want to follow the trend of playing overseas, which is why they didn't from 2009 to 2013, because that was kind of the era of when you were seeing Japanese bands kind of end up overseas a little bit more. Obviously, it was kind of short-lived tours, but they didn't want to hop on that trend because they were worried about peaking and then just everybody forgetting about them, which I totally understand because, you know, especially when it comes to bringing foreign sound over to another country, it'll be like, oh my God, it's all the rage. And like it's kind of like how K-pop just all of a sudden just finally and like spiked.
Yeah.
There's a chance that this is all just going to drop off and there's going to be nothing for them in the overseas market. We don't know that for sure, but that's always a chance. And I understand why a band wouldn't want to take that chance.
But I mean, like BTS has been around forever at this point, right? It
Yeah,
feels
they're
like
they're holding on well, but the kind of mirror image of exactly what I'm saying is Blackpink, because BTS and Blackpink at one point were neck and neck in the overseas market, and you see one has really dropped off. They're coming back and they're making more stuff finally, but they definitely dropped.
Were they the ones that did the thing with like Selena Gomez and all that shit and everything? Okay,
The
all right.
ice cream song.
Yeah, that song sucks.
Yeah. That song.
So try to stay off of K-pop, onto JRock.
Yeah, but yeah. So
But same idea. Yeah, same idea.
yeah, especially, and of course there's kind of the influx of interest in Asian culture right now.
Yeah.
And so like it probably even now it's like a little hesitant of getting in because you could end up being it's kind of like the one hit wonder syndrome where you have that one killer thing and that's the only thing you're ever remembered for, and then you can't make anything after that because it's never going to sell as well. Like,
Don't be another Mark Morrison. Return of the Mac is your fucking ghost.
Jesus.
It will haunt you for the rest of your life.
Oh, real quick before my phone dies, because I have 1% battery, I could show you the one of the photos
With Mark
from
Morrison.
Ninth. No.
Mark Morrison's like, I really like.
I mean, I
Gazette.
have one of their photos as one of my backgrounds on my computer, but this is the general
Their general
look. And that suit he wore for a lot of the show. I don't know if he wore it every show, but he
that
wore
suit
it for...
breathes.
I don't think because it's velvet.
Yeah. No,
So probably not.
dude, homeboy.
He probably has a couple made.
Yeah.
Or he just like travels with a cleaner. I don't know.
Mid set, he's like, suit switch now.
Right?
Just dripping.
Oh God. I can't even imagine. That's
I've heard
yeah.
of having drip, but this is ridiculous.
Just their whole thing. I also like that Rita. I'm gonna say this right because I'm still upset about it. He just went like full blackout.
Oh yeah, homeboy, yeah.
Like it's. I mean, he didn't do that for. He didn't do that for a lot of other photos, but it is like
Dude,
this like full blackout idea is.
Kind of, looks like an anime Professor Snape.
I feel like that would be more. No, I feel like that's more.
The only reason.
Okay, well, not in this photo. Does Aoi doesn't look as much as he used to. That's mean.
Jesus, holy shit.
Well, there was a couple times when he had like kind of the like loose wave. That's what I don't know.
Wait, like hair wise?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like he had like wavy skin or something. I was just like, what?
He's like a snake. Just shed it off, and now he's firm again.
Because that's what you do. You shake it off till it's firm again. Is that what you do? Is that how snakes work? You've heard this?
I don't know, they look wavy and crinkled until it comes off, and then they're firm again. This episode's been all over the place. Jesus Christ.
It's an innuendo.
Oh, hey, you want to know another fun fact that I totally forgot to put in the beginning and I wanted to?
You should. Go ahead.
Do you know where their name comes from?
No, it's like... tell me. Why am I trying to think of an answer?
I don't know. But I at least I believe this is right because an interviewer asked this or like said this as a statement and a question to them in an interview. It comes from cassette tapes because that was what they used to record on. That's where their name came from.
But it's not. But there's like a Gazette. Is it like a?
I don't know.
I don't.
But that's what the internet told me.
I think.
And I've never known that before until like a couple years ago, and I was kind of like, is there anything else that proves this?
Is there proof of this? Is there a?
But when this interviewer like said it as like a statement, because it was like the statement of, oh, so your name or like your name comes from cassette tapes, and then they asked like a question after that, which I can't remember what related, but like nobody denied it in the interview. Granted, the hard part about these interviews is there are video ones, but a lot of like solid English translated ones are just you know, somebody probably sat there with like their phone recording and then wrote it all down.
Yeah.
So who knows? But yeah, that's
Rough translation. Like most Japanese media you consumed like the 2000s or like even like the like early like aughts, freaking you're trying to get a translated episode of an anime and you're just like, I hope this is a translation because a lot of this is making fucking sense.
I've watched some rough like fan translations of like Korean horror movies before they came out on like Netflix or whatever.
No.
And I've done that. I've watched it and then I'll watch when it officially comes out on Netflix and then I'm like, oh, I understand the story a lot more now.
Yeah, just like wait, oh.
Like, yeah, you definitely didn't. Your translation was a little rough, which translating's not easy. So,
Right. But it's like 9 out of 10. It's like, did you? How many years of translating you had? Oh, I just went there for 1 year and dropped out.
right.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, a thing about Dogma too is it took over a year to produce.
Oh.
Yeah, they took like a lot of time with that one because it was very much like this
very-
conceptual, like
All seems like it was very production heavy. Like,
Oh,
definitely, yeah, that definitely makes sense.
yeah.
They took their time with it.
But
Good time with it.
they've always kind of talked about too that they've been a band that they don't really argue about anything. They love making music together and they kind of just they want to make what they enjoy, then which is that whole thing about like we don't want to follow trends, we don't want to sound old fashioned, so we're always trying to find like what's that happy medium in there, and then like how can we kind of get a message across or you know a concept across, whatever it might be, and then obviously that has to go into the stage show as well. From my understanding is Ruki writes all of the lyrics, and then you'll have I think 2 of the band members are kind of your main like instrumental people.
Your compositionalist or whatever.
Yeah, they're it usually falls kind of in the laps of 2 of them. But yeah, after that, that's
More-
about
yeah
that's about as much about the actual like
process. Yeah.
that I know of, and I think Dogma was the only album that took that long. Yeah, it would be because all the other albums came literally like year after year. And Beautiful Deformity came out in 2013, but Dogma didn't come out until 2015. But then Ninth didn't come out till 2018. So, but granted, again, they weren't touring worldwide until after 2013. So that could have also been what was happening there, was them finally getting over into overseas, which I would make sense, and I'm pretty sure is what happened.
Yeah.
They're spending more time there.
Yeah. Trying to get some more world tours. Obviously, just once everything gets back to normal, maybe they'll try and do another world tour again or something like that.
I hope so bad because I need to go. I need to do it.
Don't tell them we made this episode though.
No, nope. Because I strongly embarrassed myself, and I am. You don't understand how upset I am. It threw off my entire groove for like the rest of this because I had so much going, and then it peeked in my brain. I'm like, you're not saying the right name, Alexis. What are you doing? It's been a rough day. Okay, nothing was working in the beginning of all this. You guys don't get to see any of that, but I was very upset.
No, it's a process here. You see, you think it's easy, right? And just sit down at a table, you know, turn on the computer, talking to some mics, having some good conversation. You don't see the construction of it all. You don't see the hell mouth that is us trying to get the stuff to be working correctly.
Yeah, because I literally had like all of this set up, and I was like, yeah, we're good, we're great, everything's wonderful. And then like finally go to hook up the computer, and I'm like, why do you keep not wanting to use my soundboard? Yeah. Why are we doing this? What is?
And usually it's like, I bring some of this stuff, and then like I bring like chairs and like the camera and everything, and then when the audio stuff's going wrong, I just have to. The only thing I can really do is just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, well, here we are.
It's just me, just doing the thing.
Yeah, let me just wait for Alexis to finish yelling at her computer. You should work now. Okay.
It's so bad. Jesus. Do I have anything else?
What else do we have?
Oh, this was kind of an interesting little fact, too, that I read in an interview. Ruki talked about this. Because somebody had asked, or, well, somebody had made a comment, or like an interviewer had made a comment about, like, oh, Ruki, your English has gotten, like, a lot better. Is that, like, intentional? Is there, are you trying to write, like, English lyrics more? Obviously, you see a lot more of their song titles are English now than they used to be.
Yeah.
There's still that like 50-50 chance of it, being a Japanese title and then being an English title or whatever. But you see a lot more English now.
Yeah.
But he talked about the reason why he includes English lyrics is not because some people have kind of I theorize that like the reason that some of these groups will use English is because it will help with like other countries and like breaking into them, which I get what they're saying there,
Yeah.
but that's a little bit of a far stretch considering some of them will have like one line that they just repeat over and over again. I'm like,
Yeah.
who is that helping?
Yeah, nobody.
But he talked about the reason that he'll include them is sometimes the Japanese is really lengthy and it doesn't convey the feeling that he wants. So sometimes an English word will not only phonetically sound better with like the overall composition of the song lyrically,
Yeah.
but it also portrays that emotion that he wants better.
Yeah.
So
that's not. Yeah, that makes more sense in terms of that. And instead of sometimes where like you're listening to something and like there's some parts that are Japanese and there's some parts like that's in English. Why are they saying that? Okay, now back to Japanese or whatever. That makes for a flow of the song that makes more sense.
yeah.
So that's interesting. That's an interesting
Yeah.
tidbit.
I really like, I mean, I definitely recommend ever like reading interviews with them or watching interviews because they're very like just kind of laid back and chill about what they do. Like people always sometimes there's interviewers that try to find like some like tea, like do you guys argue on this or did you guys like
Yeah.
do you guys debate or get like upset with each other? And they're just kind of like, no, we just like
No,
make
just-
music,
yeah,
bro.
we just did the thing, like we just made the sound and everything like that or whatever. Like it's there. What else do you want from it? Oh, just want to. No, you don't. Shut up.
Yeah.
You stop it.
And it's always interesting too because they're very passionate about even like the stage aspect of it. They're very passionate about how things turn out overall for just like an overall theme of the show, but then when they go into every show, it's sometimes it can happen when you're going on a long tour where like the middle shows like you're starting to get tired or run down, and then like when you get to the last one you're like, well, we're going out with a bang, like let's do the no, he wants like the same experience. He wants everybody to enjoy what is going on because and he even brought up, he said, when we go overseas, a lot of the times, like, this is the only shot that those fans have to see us. And, like, we want to show them that we appreciate that they're here, even though they are so far away. Like, we want everybody to have that same experience. And I'm like,
It's so nice.
wow, I love that.
Yeah.
'Cause it's just, I don't know, I guess it's like, I don't know, weirdly refreshing. I don't know why.
It feels like you're you're not trying to exclude certain venues or certain places out of the same concert experience that everyone else is getting. Like I feel like I think we talked about this last time in the During Gray episode, like how a lot of their shows in Japan seem like they have such extravagance to them and everything. They're massive and crazy, but that's just because like Japan's such a small area, and two, like they have like maybe like 3 or 4 big arenas that people go to, and that's basically about it or something like that or whatever. There's not as many. It's not America where there's like stadiums and
Like every
amphitheaters.
state,
Yeah.
it's got like 12.
Yeah, you can only bring so much for your setup and everything. So like it's understandable why they would may go for something along those lines. So
Yeah.
just try and give them their own experience. But
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
I feel like this was a better
Yeah, no,
JRock
this is-
101.
yeah. This is more. It was more detailed about the band and everything like that. I think it's what you're more aiming towards. It wasn't just like discussing the albums we talked about specifically.
No.
Just give them more of a generalization of like who the band is and like their progression and everything. And granted, and I'll say this on my end at least, I want to try and don't think I'm going into this being like, I know you don't think this, but I don't want people to think I'm going into this already like, oh, I gotta listen to another JRock album. I want to like some of this shit. I want to like some of the stuff that she's listening to. Like,
want to understand.
Yeah, I need to know. And I don't want it to just be that like friggin'. It's like okay rock music that like mostly is just there because there's pretty boys and I like the pretty boys and I want to get they're pretty boys and they make me happy. Like I know there are bands that are like that. I know there's more to it and everything like that. I'm just trying to get out of that generalization.
I could show you some freaking pretty bands. Let's talk about Versailles. I think I said this in the last episode. Let's talk about Versailles because wow, if I've ever seen vampires, it just wow. They're incredible. They're beautiful. They're beautiful, but their music is really good.
I mean, that's.
But they also consider themselves a Philharmonic quintet, which is very interesting because it's not. But you know, it's fine.
They're like, we're this thing, and like technically, no.
But yeah, because like quintets and stuff are usually strings.
Yeah.
They're a rock band.
Yeah.
They have strings.
Yeah.
Nobody in the band plays the strings, but they have strings in the songs. But you know, whatever.
Yeah. You know.
I don't know. I just always found that very interesting because for a little while I thought they were two different things, and I was like, why do I keep having to like? I would like very specifically make sure that I'm searching for this JRock band, and I found out no, that literally it's literally on like the beginning of their freaking music videos. It'll say their name and say quintet underneath it, and I'm like, oh, it's a thing.
It's fair. You know, like, what was it? Apocalyptica? I think they're actually considered. They're an actual quintet.
Yeah, they're actually strings, and then they bring in like guitarists and
other things.
They bring in vocalists because none of them sing.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I whichever, if you ever get the wild hair and you're just like, Nick, we're gonna talk about another J-Rock band. I'm like, I'm here for it. I'm here for the ride. I'm here to learn and figure out this stuff, these things, this stuff and these things. But anything else? Any last words you want to add, or you want to go and kind of just signing off to them? Go.
I don't think so. Don't roast me too hard. I'm probably already going to edit. I'll probably put a freaking snippet of myself in the beginning that's like, hey, don't roast me. I screwed up for a good portion of this.
Yeah, I think, first off, a good chunk of our audience is going to be like, who?
That's true. Yeah. I mean, the only one that's going to roast me is Teppy. I see you. I know you're going to roast me because as soon as you see that I'm putting out a Gazette video, well, you already know we're doing this. So you're going to roast me. I know you are. Yeah. Thanks.
On an open fire.
Jesus. It's because of you that I screwed up anyways. So Jesus.
Yeah.
It's your fault.
It's your fault, Teppy.
My God.
Remember it. It's your fault. I'm just kidding.
Remember December.
Remember. It's March.
I don't know what happened to December either.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going to enjoy the rest of March.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Alexis. Yeah.
I didn't mean to do that.
Give my cooties and shit. Gross ass motherfucker.
Are we 6 feet apart? I don't know. Is this 6 feet?
I don't. Maybe? I don't know. No. We're all getting COVID. The inevitability is going to happen.
We've been working this long, you know.
Yeah, that's fair.
We've made it out clean so far.
Mm-hmm. In those ways. I don't know about others. Anywho, happy birthday, Alexis. Have a good rest of your March. We will catch you guys all in April.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.